People really liked my last droid tutorial where I just built the head of a battle droid, so today I'm going to do the torso. For this build, you'll need wood pattern floor mat, scrap foam core, scrap PVC pipe, a heat gun, hot glue, paint, a sharpening stone, a respirator mask, goggles, a rotary tool, scissors, razor pens, or a box cutter. I'm using these wood pattern floor mats because the blank side is the color sand, which will make painting so much easier. Use a box cutter to cut tilted oval shapes from the foam. Oh, sorry I'm not wearing a shirt, by the way. It's just crazy hot in my apartment right now. I'm actually like burning up right now because I have to have the windows closed when I do these voiceovers. Once you've got both side panels cut out, cut a square for internal support. This will have to be reinforced later. I glued that together, but it turns out that hot glue won't stick to the wood pattern laminate, so once I discovered that, I just peeled it off from here on out. I cut out the back panel first. It's tapered inward towards the top. That's important. I made the neck and collarbone out of salvage parts from my power loader costume, which there's surprisingly little footage of. Don't glue it in place, just make sure that it'll stay in there with tension. I cut the chest plate and peeled the backing off. Before I glued it in, I strengthened the interior with scrap foam core poster board. As I attached it and figured out where it would lay, I cut a neck hole. I put one of the interior plates in there, and then I cut a neck hole again. I just realized that I'm making this from the outside in. Why the hell did I do that? Whatever, it got done. Next, I built the backpack. I guess you can't tell, but I ripped away a lot of the plastic pattern on the interior before I closed it up. Just any surface where two pieces of material have to attach together, there can't be any of that laminate. I used some of the scrap for the skeletal structure of the backpack. When that was done, I took one of the puzzle piece strips of scrap foam, cut off the puzzle pieces, and threaded it through the inside of the PVC joint, and glued the end together, so it's essentially one long loop. Don't glue it to the pipe. Just don't glue those sections. I know it looks like I'm making this up as I go, but there's a reason why I'm doing this. There is a plan. I promise. I can't say it was a straight face. I'm just kidding. I never plan anything I do. I took some of my spent thread spools and glued them inside the gray scrap foam band. These are going to be hinges later on. So glad I hung on to these. There was a flame war a little while back over whether or not I'd do a sewing tutorial. Of all the things to get in a flame war back. And I do sew, just not well enough to parlay into a tutorial. Actually, I had to sew raised Jedi capri pants for the Force Awakens parody. Of course, I only learned how to pleat the samurai wrap after I uploaded the video. Whatever, live and learn. What was I doing? Greeblies. Attach Greeblies to the pack and cut a hole in it. Just do it. I made the antenna out of a chopstick and paper tubes. I reattached the door of the pack with scrap foam. Eventually, I'm going to throw some gack in there because I'll need it for a close-up. Make the abdomen out of foam or mithril. I don't know materials you got lying around. Honestly, I'm so glad to be getting rid of this particular mat. It's just really inconvenient for most of my other foam builds. Next to the panel lines, you can actually get away with just drawing those on with black Sharpie. But in order to give it more depth, I took a knife, cut about halfway down into the foam on either side of the Sharpie line that I drew, and then I ripped out that strip with a pair of pliers. Actually, let me just show you this method on the Greeley. There we go. That is how the Jakespeare do. That's interesting. It's focusing through my glasses. Reasons like this, which is why I don't wear glasses when I'm actually talking to the camera. Right, moving on. Now I'm adding PVC bends, the sides of the abdomen. Yeah, sure. Let's just apply human terms to an alien robot. To make a shoulder hinge, I slid a piece of chopstick through the spool from earlier and set it in this foam horseshoe shape. Then I drew and cut up shoulder pieces using a peanut butter lid as a stencil because that's exactly the diameter of a droid shoulder. You can't prove they're not! And this is about as far as I built up the arms because honestly that's all I need for the shoot. To attach the neck to the collarbone, I found a piece of PVC that would fit T-joint, glued a spool in there, widened the hole with my drill until it matched the diameter of a sponge brush handle. I go through a lot of sponge brushes. Drill a hole in the base of the neck, glued the adapter to the neck, attached it, realized it was too big, dismantled it, cut it in half, reattached it, and there we go. I still have to weather it to get the head and body to match in shading and general wear and tear, but y'all have watched me weather a million props, so you know how to do it by now. Unless you're new to the channel, just watch any of my videos. It's all pretty much the same. And that's as much of this as I need to build for the script that I wrote. If there are delays in my filming schedule or an insane demand for me to build the rest of this, then I'll keep working on it. And there'll be more parts to this series. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then you can follow these links in annotations or cards if you're on a mobile device. They'll take you to similar builds. And be sure to subscribe. And if you want to help out the channel so that there aren't these crazy long gaps and media blackouts in between my uploads, then you can head on over to the Patreon page where patrons receive early uploads. So how do you feel about battle droids? What's your opinion? Hilarious comic relief or inept tool of intergalactic warfare? Let me know in comments below. Jake out!